Hey, what's going on guys? Ender Charizard here, bringing you another EnderTalks video, and I know I did one of these really recently. However, this one is going to be almost a part 2 to my second to last EnderTalks, which was about the MC community, and a rebuttal to MCPC's rant video, which was kind of inspired by mine, which compared and contrasted the MCPE and MCPC communities, which is what I'm going to be doing as well today. And I want to get this out of the way first, because I feel like someone's going to take this video the wrong way. This is not throwing any shade to MCPCooldude. He's one of my closest friends from YouTube, one of the first people I ever collabed with. I don't hate MCPCooldude at all, and this video is not meant to be made in any way to demean him or his opinions. It's just to share my opinions about the matter, because I have slightly different ones that I felt, could be heard and should be heard, because it is a topic that definitely deserves to be talked about and deserves to, in my opinion, be cleared up in some ways. So in his video, he discussed the toxicity of both the MCPE and MCPC communities, and whether or not one was worse than the other. And in his video, he basically declares that the MCPC community is more toxic than the MCPE community. And one of his biggest examples is the Bad Lion server and the Bad Lion community as a whole. Now, I will not disagree that Bad Lion is a very toxic community. But I am kind of here to say that my opinion is neither is more toxic than the other. They both have their pros and cons, and they both have their, I guess you could say, different aspects that make up their communities. Now, I'm not going to get petty, and I'm not going to talk about, which game is better. That's one, an obvious answer, and two, doesn't matter in the spectrum of this topic. Whether or not PC is better than Pocket Edition, which it is, should not determine which community is better. And I feel like some people take that into effect when discussing such. However, I want to talk about the communities and compare and contrast them. Personally, I don't think either or can be put on a pedestal higher than the other, because in my last video on this kind of scale and spectrum, where I talked about the MCPC community alone, I said you cannot generalize it. You cannot kind of pinpoint one little fact here or there, because it's so vast and so wide, and there's so much that makes it up. You can't put a label on it, and you really shouldn't. And that's kind of the same as I feel about this topic, comparing the MCPE and MCPC communities. Pocket Edition has its pros and cons, and it has its specifics you can point out, and you have servers in Pocket Edition you can point out. For example, the whole lifeboat thing that happened recently, a big scandal that I didn't even really know about until a couple days after it happened, because I'm not in the Pocket Edition community anymore. That's kind of a huge thing, and that's kind of something that's negative in the Pocket Edition community, but that's one server. So in MCPCooldude's video, and again, this is not to demean him or his opinion, kind of using Bad Lion as your main argument point doesn't really hold much sense, as Bad Lion's one server in the PC scale, in the PC spectrum, and it's not even one of the biggest ones. There's a lot more bigger servers out there, and servers with a lot better communities that are bigger. In my opinion, I think Mineplex has a pretty good community. There's not much hate, people usually stay quiet, and trolling is kept to a minimum. And that's one of the biggest servers in Minecraft PC. And of course, there's other servers that are good and other servers that are bad. But what I'm saying is, Bad Lion doesn't entirely make up PC, and not a lot of PC players even like Bad Lion. I play on it, but I personally hate Bad Lion. I only like it for practicing PvP. As a practical server, I hate it. And a lot of PvPers hate Bad Lion because it's just so, I guess you could say it's so oversaturated with tryhards and toxicity that it's just become this community of pure, almost anger. But anyway, back to the topic that I was trying to get, and the point I was trying to make is Bad Lion does not make up PC. Not one server makes up PC. Not even a handful of servers makes up PC. It's made up of a lot of servers, many servers, and every server kind of etches its own detail and description into the PC community. Therefore, and the same goes for Pocket Edition, I should say, the same goes for Pocket Edition. It has its good servers, it has its bad servers. And therefore, I don't think either or can be given a title or a number or a label as to how good or how bad the community is, and therefore I don't think either can be proven better than the other. I mean, both have great communities if you look at it on certain spectrums, and both have really bad communities as you look at it on certain spectrums. It's just all about where you go to find such. Now, I know I'm starting to sound a little redundant and starting to go in circles here, so I'm going to quickly wrap this up and just saying both platforms, Pocket Edition and PC, are different games and different communities, and they're going to have very different things about them, but as a whole, you cannot prove one is better than the other when it comes to the players. There's too many players, too many servers, and too many different aspects to take into account. So that's about it. I personally think that both games cannot be proven better than the other, and that they both are kind of their own pieces of beautifulness made by Mojang. Like I said at the beginning, this is not to in any way give hate or discredit MrCooldude's opinion. I just have my own. And that is all from me. So I hope you all did enjoy this video. I hope my viewpoints were made clear, as I know they kind of got a little repetitive there towards the end, but other than that, have a lovely, lovely day. I will try to as well, and until next time, peace.